Hey everyone, my name is Jessica and I'm here to talk about cross stitch today. I am coming back for Flosstube number 2. It's been about 3 weeks I think since my last one, but I have a really large pile of things to share today, so I'm excited to get to that. But before I go there, I wanted to say, give some thanks, say thank you to everyone who liked, commented, and subscribed on my first Flosstube video. I really appreciate it. I want to say, I received a lot of very kind and supportive, welcoming comments, and I really appreciate all of those. I also want to give a shout out and thanks to the Thread Gremlins. They mentioned me in not their last Flosstube, but the one second to last, the one that was around when I filmed my first one. They shouted me out. They said so many nice things about both me and about my patterns, so I really appreciate that. And the last thing I want to mention before getting started is Annie from XO Needle and the Hay XO on both Instagram and YouTube, I believe. She is hosting a SAL, which is a Start Along or Stitch Along, for her birthday, and the SAL is featuring any of my patterns, so stitching any of my stuff for the SAL, which is really cool. As far as I know, that's like the first official, it's not official, but you know, first time anyone's hosted a SAL with my patterns in particular being the thing you're stitching on, so that's really cool. Thanks Annie and happy birthday. I think that is starting really soon. If it hasn't started, it's the 25th right now, so I don't know, it's probably starting very, very soon. I want to say it's the 27th, so you can go check out her Instagram if you want more info on that. But yeah, let's get started. Let's get into it because I have so much today. All right, first up, I actually made a list this time so that it'd be a little less scattered. First up is something I posted on Instagram. This is my FFO. So first one is a pattern of mine. I think both FFOs are patterns of mine actually. But this one is one I recently posted on Instagram. I had stitched this and had it finished for a couple months, but wasn't sure how I wanted to go about finishing it because it's like this cute little banner design and I didn't really know what to do. So I've just been sitting on it and I finally decided to pull it out and give it a go, and I love how it turned out. It's so cute. This is called Diviner and it's in my Fantasy Banner series. It's like a series of patterns that I'm designing to be these banner shapes, and each one is going to feature a different like role-playing game, fantasy class, that sort of thing. So yeah, this is Diviner. I have oh, before I go into that, this is on 20 count Aida by Fiber on a Whim in the color Wheat. So it is stitched 1/1. I do have some specialty stitches though, which are pretty fun because they add like a nice texture to it. Oh my gosh, can I show it? It's like these road stitches. Yeah, you can kind of see them like in this section right here and here. I thought those were really fun to add in. And I did this on Aida. I didn't pierce any of the Aida squares for that, so it's pretty easy. Yeah. Like I said, Diviner, so I have different motifs just to be like that I think of when I think of like telling the future, fortune telling, that sort of thing. So it has a teacup with leaves, like reading tea leaves, some cards, like thinking like a divination deck, tarot deck, that sort of thing. Hourglasses across the top representing like passage of time or seeing through time. And then like some eyes, like third eye motifs. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So this is the first banner I have completely finished, and I'll show you later I did finish the rogue, the stitching on it. So I'll have that one, hopefully that one finished up soon. I got a lot of patterns, always take a long time to get like put into PDFs. I don't know, and when I'm in the mood it's fine, but when I'm not in the mood it's like pulling teeth to get those patterns made into PDFs. So yeah, that's my first FFO. The second one I have here is a much smaller one. It's a pattern that I also designed. This is, what is this? Blue Rose, and it's the small that I included with the Blue Rose pattern. It's just a little alphabet with the same blue rose motif. Finished it as a small pillow. It had been sitting in this state for months now, and I just needed to like finish hand sewing on the trim. So yeah, I finally did that. Finally got this one finished. I don't have a lot of little pillows, but eventually I probably will because they're just really fun to make. Yeah, this is on a 32 count Sprite by Picture This Plus. It's a Lugana, and I stitched this 2/2. Yeah. Then the trim is just some random trim from Michael's. They have these like seasonal trim packs where you'll get like 20 different trims in a little pack, and they're like maybe 3 feet long, so it's perfect for pillows, like small things that are being finished. And this one's like from the springtime, so some like pastels were in there. Yeah, it's my second FOAW. Yay! All right, now I'm gonna move on to my finished objects. Let's see, I'll start with this one. Yeah, I got a lot of comments being very curious how the beading would go on this, because I stitched, this is letters from Nora, or Mermaids, something like that, letter E. It's the Mermaids one from Letters from Nora Corbett. It's stitched on a 40 count Picture This Plus linen in the color Demoiselle. So it is stitched 1/1, and because it's on 40 count, I couldn't do the called for all the beads. So I had to substitute in smaller beads for that. And yeah, I got a lot of comments being curious how this would go, and my overall impression with stitching on 40 count is it's really great and I love it. And I will do it again. I'm really looking forward to starting a mirror on 40 count. I did run into some minor issues, which I'll talk about. But this is one more thing to mention about this is it's a full color conversion. So yeah, the Mermaids pink subbed out a lot of the greens. And then of course all the beads are both made smaller and different colors than what the called for are. So yeah, that's what she looks like. So for the beading, I did end up needing to, well, I needed to use a beading needle. So I think I had like size 12 beading needles. I'm not sure if a size 10 would work, but I used a size 12. I initially started putting in the beads diagonally, but I noticed that they weren't fitting as well. Like I was having a hard time fitting, especially in the areas where it's like multiples in a row. Like they weren't fitting nicely. So I ended up doing them as a full cross, with like full cross through the beads so that they would lay all straight on the piece instead. The main like tightness issues, like the places I had to remove a couple beads, I think there were 3 places in here. It's where like for some reason the vertical lines of beads, I had a lot more difficulty with fitting them all in than like horizontal lines. So I think in this spot I had to remove a bead. And then like over here maybe, yeah, I think it was like here and here. So they just weren't fitting super well. And I kind of wonder if that has to do with the fact that these beads, which are something I picked up at my LNS, they're, even on the label, they say they're like size 14/15. I don't know if that's showing. Yeah, size 14/15. So I was ignorant to what that meant when I bought these. But yeah, the Wichelt Petites I think are size 15. But these were very irregular in size. Like they weren't. I definitely will be looking for a different option for beads in the future, because yeah, I was trying to like pick through and find the ones that were like on the smaller size, because some of them were just like very obviously too large. Yeah, but I received a comment from, I believe, Marissa on my last Flosstube, and she recommended checking out beading stores. And in particular, she recommended a brand called Toho, T-O-H-O. So I'm going to be looking at that. I saw online, and they have a lot of colors, because the Wichelt Petites do not have a lot of like variety in colors for substituting into place of like the regular Wichelt Petites. So yeah, that's how it turned out. I used these 3 colors of beads in the size 14/15. right there. And then I also use some regular like Mill Hill glow-in-the-dark beads. I can't tell if that's, my face is making it not focus, I don't know. There we go, yeah. These ones, like in the pattern it called for, so like the regular beads that it called for were pony beads. So like those, I put those in for the pony beads, which are a much larger bead than the Mill Hill. Yeah, so super happy with this. Excited to try out some 40 count mirror stitching in the future. Okay. Second finish is my Rogue. So this is also part of the Fantasy Banner series that I'm designing, and this is the Rogue. So this will be the second one. This was a revision. I originally made this pattern as just a rectangle where it stopped like right here, but then I decided that I wanted them to be banners for my own finishing and where I want to hang them up in my house. So yeah, this is stitched on a 20 count aida by Fiber on a Whim called Affogato. It is 1/1 stitching. It has a little bit of like black work, I guess black work backstitch designs in there. This one does not have any specialty stitches. It's just full cross and some backstitching on it. I stitched it with mostly DMCs, and there's one Pirate Robin floss in here. This like red to navy one right here, and like here, like down here. So that one is called Black Dahlia. And I like how it turned out. I originally was worried about this purple color, but I think like overall, now that I've stitched the whole piece, it is working for me. I like it. I like how it turned out. So yeah, I want to get this finished into a banner just like the Diviner one. I think it'll look really pretty like that. Okay, last FO finished object is my cherry magpie. Oh my gosh. So I filmed that Flosstube and I was like, I'm so burnt out on this. But then like a day later, I just decided to finish it, and it did not take me like a day. I was joking. It was more like another 3 days to like finish off this last corner, but it's so great. I love it. I stitched this on a 40 count Fox and Rabbit beetroot. It's a linen, 40 count linen. It's stitched 1/2. There's no back stitching, but there are some like little tiny road stitches in here, like these little cherries on this border. You can see like they're not full cross. Yeah, if you didn't want to do the full cross though, or the road stitch, you could always just replace, like substitute in full crosses for those. Yeah, I have the frame ordered. And I went with a wine. That was the most popular choice by far. Not by far. It was actually very close. I put it on an Instagram poll and it was like almost 50-50. But yeah, then I was leaning towards wine at that point. So I ordered it, but I just got the shipping notification today that it's shipping. So much later than I wanted to receive it. I think I'm going to, I have the pattern mostly finished at this point, like the PDF. I just need to take some cover photos. So I think I'm just going to do it and release it without it being fully finished, which is fine. Still very pretty without the frame. What else about this? I think that's all I have to say about it. But I'm really happy it's done. And I love how the colors turned out on this one. This is stitched in DMC, and there are 2 overdyed flosses in this one. I showed them in my last Flosstube. I don't have them here, but there's one called Threadworks, and it's 10244. It's called Peacock Feathers. And if you're looking on 123 Stitch like I did the other day, because I picked it up on I picked up my Threadworks floss from my LNS. And so I went on 123 Stitch just to make sure there were no like major dye lot changes. And the picture on there is so different than what it looks like in person. It's very like blown out, like high flash picture. But I bought a skein and it's exactly like the one I stitched with. So no worries there. So it's that Threadworks one. And then there's Color and Cotton Zinnia, which is the hot pink in here. Oh yeah, one more, that's what I was thinking I was going to mention. So I went and bought a custom frame for this, and I had talked about buying a custom frame for this, but it turns out that I designed this to be, to fit in an 8x10 frame. So this, like, stitched on 40 count, its finished size is 7x9 inch. So it's basically the perfect size for an 8x10 framing. So no need for that custom frame, but I did it anyway because I wanted the wine color, and I like also the signed and numbered frames because they are super deep. Like a lot of the styles you can get are like a couple inches deep, so you can fit the glass, you can fit spacers in there. You got your cross stitch piece on foam board, and then another piece on top of that. So it's great. So yeah, I'll be framing that as soon as possible, but I think I'm just gonna release the pattern before I get it framed. So that'll be fun. Yay. Okay. All my finishes, that's all of them, you know, that's a lot. I don't usually have that many finishes. I think I was just at a stage with my stitching where a lot of them were close to finishes. So next up is a start, and it's a start and finish. So I guess it wasn't all my finishes. Just kidding. I'll post a picture here. It is just because theirs looks much cleaner than mine. It's a blackwork pattern called Mini Medieval Castle by beesontoastshop on Instagram. Mine, I guess it's not terrible. This is my first full blackwork piece, so I, as you can see from the back, struggled with trying to figure out how to start threads, how to end threads, like especially in the areas where there's like these little windows. Like, is there any way to do that without carrying a thread across, like starting and stopping each one? I don't know how that would be possible. If anyone knows, feel free to help me out. I did do like waist knots on this, especially for starting it initially. Like did a knot and then stitched over it so that it was burying it on like the long straight parts. But man, I really love the pattern. I love the dragon in particular up here. But yeah, it was rough. Blackwork is hard. This is blackwork, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's back stitching. I stitched it with a pirate robin floss called Boysenberry. It's just a nice purpley, pinky kind of color. It's very pretty. And this is on a scrap piece of fabric I have. You can see it's got a weird thing cut out of the center. It's on, let's see, what is it on? I have it here somewhere. There it is. 36 count Zweigart light mocha linen. Yeah, just one strand of floss for the stitching. Yeah, not sure how I'm gonna finish this. I kind of think I'll just do some sort of hanging ornament, or if I could find like a small box, like wooden jewelry box or something to finish this on top, that would be cool, because I have a lot of, I don't have a ton. I guess I have around 10 like dice sets, because I play Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, it'd be cool to get this like mounted on a box and then use that as some dice storage. Cool. Next up is another new start. This is one I talked about in my last Flosstube. It's called Persephone's Garden, another pattern of mine that I'm working on right now. I was talking about in the last Flosstube how I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to stitch it on the fabric I wanted to stitch it on, because I bought the fabric in a 46 count. Which can be rough, but it worked out. So this is the fabric by xJuDesign. It's called Midnight Ride. And yeah, I bought it in a 46 count because that's what she had available in her shop. They didn't have the 40 count. So 46 count, I was worried about it, especially since it's dark, but it's been working out really well so far. Let me just get this close up so you can see a little better. Yeah, so Of all the 46 counts I have tried, this is surprisingly the most pleasant experience I've had with 46 count. I'm not really sure why that's the case. I've tried a color in cotton, and then I also stitched something on fiber on a whim, 46 count, and for some reason this one, like the other two, the color in cotton was the worst of the three that I've tried. Like they would lose tension really easily, and I tried all of them in a Q-snap, so I don't think it's that, but it was just so much resistance, I think, with pulling the needle and thread through the fabric that they would just really easily lose tension on the Q-snap. But I don't have that same problem with this one. I am using a size 28 needle. Not all size 28 needles will work, but I have some. I wish I knew the brand. I want to try and figure out which brand it is because I need to buy more, but I have a brand of size 28s that are like the needle hole. What is that? The needle hole. Yeah, the hole on the needle is not super thick, so it doesn't have much issue pulling thread through this linen, which is great. And so yeah, I've gotten so much done on this. I just started it and just didn't stop. I've been working on this for, I think this is about a week, maybe a little over a week of stitching on this. I started very awkwardly in the middle bottom because I wanted its placement to be, I wanted like a certain placement on the fabric. So I started middle bottom and then worked my way up. So this is about, yeah, so like this flower right here is halfway right here. So that's the middle of the pattern, and then it's still not the top. There's still more tree to go up here. Like the tree trunk isn't even finished, I think, and it probably goes up to like here. So it's a longer, skinnier piece. Yeah. I'm stitching this in Pirate Robin flosses mostly. I did decide to add in one more DMC color. It's not the mint color down here. I picked another DMC that's very close in color to it. Like you can barely tell, you can't see that big of a difference there. So I picked another color because for the leaves, the mint is going to be the main color for the leaves up there, and I just wanted something to create a little bit more like depth to the design, so it won't just be all mint, it'll be mint plus that DMC color. Yay. Yay. Yeah, so there it is. It's coming along. I'm excited for this one. Man, I might switch off of it though, since I don't want to burn out like I did with Cherry Magpie, so we'll see. We'll see if I get it done sooner, if I let it sit for another month. But I'm really happy with how it's coming along so far. All right, so next up I'm gonna go through my whips. I worked on just a couple of older whips. One of them that I worked on is Mooka, and I'll try and post a little picture of both the finished piece and then where I was last time. I got a good chunk done on this actually. So up here, I think I worked on this part of her dress. It's a pretty good chunk. Yeah. I'm stitching this on 32 counts Wichelt linen in the color Water Lily. It's the called for DMC 2/2. I'm not changing anything with this one. Yeah, it's coming along. I just wanted to get a little progress in it since I don't know if I'll stick with it, but I'd like to only have one mirror going at a time. I do have like 10 in my stash or something around there that I would like to stitch, but I want them all finished, and so I just know that, yeah, it'll be hard for me to shift focus. So it's easier if I just have one going, but also I'm really excited to start something on 40 count for Mira, so we'll see how that goes. It might turn up that I end up starting something new there. And then my second whip is Sprouting Lupine Designs Unicorn's Garden. I will post the picture of it, the mock-up, and then, or the model, and then I'll post where I was at last time. And here I am now. I got a lot done on this because there was not much there. I picked this up after filming my Flosstube and just worked on it a couple days. It's on a 36 count Picture This Plus linen in the color Woodland, and I'm stitching it 1/1. I'm doing a full color conversion for this. It's just stuff that I've had in stash. Goodness. I think it's mostly Roxy Floss and Color and Cotton for the over dyes. And then, oh, and there's one Pirate Robin in here too, this brick color. And then I have some DMCs. I thought that I was mostly sticking, like doing a 1-to-1, but it turns out like in the pattern, there'll be like 2 different blues and 2 different oranges. And I just decided, like for the oranges, I just swapped it out for, both of them are now this color. So it's a little less fiddly now, which I like. It's not as much color changing. Let's see. And I think I also, like, I don't think these DMCs are all called for. I'm pretty sure I warmed up the like fence in here. I think the fence was more of a cooler brown color before. So quite a few changes. I just tend to like warmer palettes, at least lately. I've been much more into like warm color palettes lately, so that's where I'm going with this one. Yeah, it's a fun one. It's nice because it's very distinct, like small motifs that you can just get through and then move on, and yeah, it's a good one. Okay, next I'm going to talk about some plans for the future. First up, I wanted to mention this one again. This is what I showed in my Wit Parade. I haven't done anything on it, but this is Dragons of Sumatra by Ink Circles. I'm stitching it on a 40 count Picture This Plus linen called Truffle, and just with it right now, it's with a single DMC. And I mentioned in my last Flosstube how I was very bored of it and did not want to stitch anymore. So I received a couple comments that were actually very helpful with ideas about where I could go from here to try and make it more interesting and something I actually want to stitch. So I'll just share those here in case anyone else is in the same position as me where they're not super thrilled about continuing on a monochromatic piece because of the one color just being too much. So that's one of the recommendations was like just start randomly picking colors and putting them in, which I do like that method. I did that on a monochromatic piece I stitched. Like that was my intention from the start, so I just picked a lot of yellows and browns. I'll probably post it up here. It was Griffin Sampler by Sprite Designs, but that was a lot of fun. I just think for this piece, I wouldn't want to start it now because I already have so much of the one color, but that's a good option. Another option was to finish it as a drum, like just finish out the stitching up until like the bottom point. So like basically carry this point across all the way, like finish that up until that line, and then finishing as a drum, which is a great idea, and probably the least amount of stitching would be required with that idea. So I think I might do that. I'll see. The other idea I was given was to start doing stripes, which I don't know why I didn't think of that. It's a really good idea. So probably finishing the blue up until the point, same like you would for a drum, and then just start striping the pattern, like going down with horizontal stripes. I think I like that idea. I'm just not sure what colors that I would want to do stripes for with this, so I had to take a look at what I have and see if anything sticks out to me. I think that could be a lot of fun. So I am not trashing this, which I wasn't planning on trashing it, but I will get back to this at some point for sure. And I think once I pick out those colors, it'll be fun to like try out the like bands. It might be a little difficult at times, but I think it'll be fun. Okay. Last thing I have to share is another plans for the future. I mentioned my video game sampler as well in my last Flosstube, and I mentioned I wanted to restart it. And I've worked through, I think, what I want to do with the colors for it. So I have this fabric from my LNS. It's a Picture This Plus 40 count linen in the color Glory. So it's kind of like a little bit of yellow, pinky, more pinky brown. Yeah, it's kind of pink to me. It's definitely pink to me. Yeah. So I have this fabric that I'm going to start it on. And my plan is, I'll post a little picture of one of the examples. It's like I'm making these little 40 by 40 monochromatic little blocks for each video game that I want to add to the sampler. And so I'll post that here. I played not League of Legends. I don't know why I was thinking of that. I haven't played League of Legends in ages now. Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. I played that earlier this year. Like I went through and did a second playthrough of it. So I have that little pattern ready to go for this. So it's a really tiny monochromatic piece. I'm not going to do it in the colors I'm showing because instead I'm going to do like, I have two rings. One's with like pinks and reds and purples, pinks, reds, purples. And the other one is with greens, yellows, browns, yellow browns, yellow greens. Yeah. So my plan is to lay out these in a grid, lay out the little monochromatic pieces in a grid with different colors. And I would like the overall like grid to form like a little pixel heart in the center. So I think it's a 7 by 9. Yeah, it's 7 across by 9 down. It's a lot. It's a lot of video games, but I can do it. It's gonna be quite extensive. It's gonna be years of this pattern. But yeah, so these colors will form the heart in the center, and then I want these colors to form the background. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I'm not sure if it'll be obvious that it's a heart in the center at the end, because since they are all going to be individual little patterns, and there's a lot of negative space in the designs, it might turn out that it's not very obvious that it's a heart because there's not enough color for it to be obvious. But we're just going to try it out. It'll be fun. I like these colors regardless of whether or not it will form a heart. Just some jewel tones, almost rainbowy, but not quite rainbow. Just jewel tone though. Yeah. So that's what I have for plans. I'm then working on a couple of other patterns too, but nothing's like ready to start, which is good because I have Persephone's garden to work on, so I don't need anything else distracting me right now. But yeah, that's what I have for today. Thank you all for coming by and checking out my second Flosstube. Like I said, I'll be getting that cherry magpie up pretty soon, as soon as I get some good photos of it. So yeah, bye. Thank you.